You're not our real son, they said on my 18th birthday. 2 years later, they needed me more than I ever needed them. The Ambergs called me son for 3 years until my 18th birthday. That morning, they sat me down in the living room I'd spent weekends helping them renovate. Wilma was 6 months pregnant and couldn't look at me. We're having our real baby now, so you need to leave today. The adoption was never going to happen, Victor. We just didn't want you getting too comfortable. Herbert added that keeping me past 16 was charity enough. You should be grateful we didn't send you back earlier like we discussed. Most people would have. I reminded them about the adoption papers they'd been processing for 2 years. Wilma laughed. Those were just to keep you behaving. Why would we adopt someone else's throwaway kid when we can have our own? My belongings were already packed in garbage bags, waiting by the front door when I walked out of that living room. The younger foster kids I'd protected and tutored watched silently from the stairs, while Wilma told them I was choosing to leave for college. Herbert warned me not to make this harder than necessary when I tried to hug my foster siblings goodbye. The state check for you stops today anyway, he mentioned, checking his watch like he had somewhere important to be. I had never been their son, just a monthly deposit of $847 into their bank account. That first night, I slept behind a dumpster because the homeless shelter had no beds available. With only $70 and a high school diploma, I watched the Ambergs post ultrasound photos on Facebook the next morning from the library computer. Their caption about being blessed to finally start their real family. Nobody asked where I had gone. The group home for troubled kids hired me for night shifts because they were desperate for staff. The pay barely covered food, but it included a small room where I could finally sleep safely. Working every holiday and double shift available became my new identity while attending community college during the day. 5 years of grinding through social work school while managing group homes had made me the youngest program director in the state's history. Then, unexpectedly, I stopped at Walmart for groceries when a small boy crashed into my legs near the cereal aisle. His clothes were 3 sizes too big, hanging off his skeletal frame, and bruises covered his arms like fingerprint tattoos. Sorry, mister, he whispered, flinching as if expecting to be hit. That's when I saw them at the end of the aisle, the Ambergs, now with 3 biological children in their cart eating McDonald's, while this foster child looked like he hadn't seen a meal in days. Wilma noticed me staring and quickly grabbed the boy's shoulder. Oscar, stop bothering strangers, she hissed, her nails digging into his skin. I instantly turned into professional mode. When they weren't looking, I knelt down, handed Oscar my business card, telling him to give it to his teacher. I spoke to them to get evidence. Herbert tried to play it casual, joking about how all foster kids were dramatic, and Oscar was just naturally skinny. Some kids you take in for the check are more trouble than they're worth, he actually said, not recognizing me at all. I called in an emergency investigation the moment they left. The investigation I ordered revealed a horror show spanning 2 years since I'd left. 3 foster children cycling through their home while their biological kids thrived, and Oscar was the latest victim. The case file landed on my desk, with photos that made my stomach turn. Bruises, malnutrition, and worse. I personally scheduled the emergency removal for a Tuesday morning, making sure I'd be the one conducting the official interview. They walked into my office, looking indignant and confused, ready to complain about harassment. Wilma started ranting about how ungrateful foster kids always lied for attention. When she finally looked at my nameplate and then my face, the recognition hit like a physical blow. Victor? She gasped, her hand covering her mouth. It's Director Reynolds, and you're under investigation for child abuse and foster care fraud. Herbert immediately went on the defensive. You can't do this to us. We raised you. We gave you everything. Wilma joined in, tears streaming down her face. You lived in our home for free for 3 years. You owe us. That's when I pulled out Oscar's medical report showing starvation-level malnutrition, while their bank records showed $2,541 monthly in foster care payments. The biological children they'd valued so highly were also showing signs of neglect, too busy collecting foster checks to actually parent anyone. Wilma sobbed that foster kids were supposed to help pay for raising real children. Everyone does it. Herbert threatened to expose how difficult I'd been as a foster child until I showed him the testimony from 3 other kids they'd discarded at 18. Each one had the same story. Promised adoption. Kicked out the day check stopped. Your miracle baby has been telling teachers that foster kids are temporary workers, I informed them, watching them crumble. The Ambergs lost their house, their biological children, and their freedom to foster again.